home security CCTV cameras are notoriously difficult to install, especially ones that need Ethernet network cables and power cables running through your loft. However, I'm about to show you how you can install a 3K CCTV camera. This is the easiest CCTV system to install around your home. You won't need any of them tricky cables. And the best bit, you'll all be able to install and control this camera with your phone within 5 minutes by the end of this video. Now, a couple of years ago, I made a video showing you guys how you could install 4K security cameras around your home, and it's done over 1 million views on YouTube. But there is one fundamental flaw with that video, and that is that you need to run cables all the way around your home, up and down walls, through multiple floors, through your loft, and a lot of you guys get put off by doing CCTV installs for that very reason. Well, today that is a thing of the past, because I have bought, with my own money, this is not sponsored, I've bought this S340 security camera. It's a 3K security camera, and guess what? We don't need to get power to it, cables to it, or anything like that. So I'll link my 4K CCTV system video in the description if you do want to go the wired route. But these things are brilliant, and we're going to start at the beginning. We're going to unbox it and have a look what we've got inside. Now, it's worth me pointing out before we look in here, as this is not a sponsored thing, it's not a review, I'm probably not going to touch on all the little fine details, but I will show you how to get this installed, set up, working, so that you've got a working CCTV system by the end of this video. So let's have a look what we've got in the box. So we've got the camera unit itself. We'll stand that to the side for now, but it's really substantial, feels quite well made. And we've got our solar panel. Again, we'll pop that there for now. And some brackets, and this looks like the little bit that allows us to adjust the angle. We've got a book, we don't need that, and some cables. So, looks pretty simple. So let's look at the main bit first. The camera even has some little instructions as we go through the process, telling us how we put the brackets on, and it feels really sturdy and really well made. Now, the reason I went for this one is mostly because it's got a couple of lenses. We've got an 8x zoom on there, and we've got a 3K resolution camera, and we've got some IR sensors and things like that on the front as well. And it can film at a complete 360 degrees with no blind spots. Now, like I say, this is not a sales pitch, so I'm not going to go through all the little specs. You can read them yourself. I'll pop a link from Amazon where I got this in the description. But the other nice thing about this, there's no subscription fees. It'll just talk to my phone, and you can buy a hard drive that will go indoors, and I can add extra cameras later on, or even the doorbell if I want to. I've got a Ring installed here at the minute, but there's a chance I might come away from the Ring and get the version that these guys make, so that the whole system will kind of talk to each other and we can avoid monthly fees. So I quite like the look and sound of that. So after I chucked the quick start guide away and jokingly told you all not to bother reading it because that's what this video was for, I've read it, and I have found out what this long cable in the box does. And it's a 3-meter cable, and what that does is basically allows you to mount your solar panel in a separate location to your camera. So the solar panel will plug into the camera, and what that means is we can mount this on its bracket in a good sunny location, so it gets the most powerful solar possible, and it doesn't of course then have to sit on the top of the camera. To be honest, I don't want to have to route or hide any cables. That's the whole point in this job, is that we don't want cables on show. They're pretty ugly. So luckily this particular camera is going to be in a nice south facing location where it's going to get sun all day, so I can make sure that this solar panel sits on the top of the camera. So we're going to mount this on the camera. It's nice and easy to do. This is the mounting bracket, and you can see the angle matches this cutout on the back of the camera, and all that does is clips on there. That's the mounting bracket installed, and we can take that on and off when it comes to mounting this in our chosen location in a little while. But we'll put it on for now. And now we can see we need the 2 5mm screws to mount our solar panel bracket, which is this piece here, to the back of the solar panel. So we're just going to unscrew that and remove this plastic piece here, and then you can see the 2 screw holes that go through onto the back of the camera. I forgot to mention I paid £130 for this camera kit that you see here, and that was an offer price, but I think that's still the price on Amazon at the time of filming this video. So what we're going to do now, the brackets are both installed, the one that attaches it to the wall and the one that attaches our solar panels. Now the solar panel, along with most of this install, is lovely and easy to do. We've not really had to read much instructions. It's all quite self-explanatory out of the box. I'm just going to tighten that solar panel onto that thread there and just give that a little nip up. There we go, that's perfect. And of course, that can move with that bracket. So that bracket is on kind of a gimbal, if you like, and that allows us to position the solar panel. But for now, we're just going to leave it in a rough position. And there we go. That is our camera build-up complete. I'm not going to peel all of these off until we get it installed up on the wall because I don't want to scratch the lenses or the solar panel, and we might have to move this once we start installing it to the wall. But nice and easy, nice and self-explanatory. Now one thing to remember before we do install this on the wall is that we use this USB-C cable here. This is a charging cable that you got with the kit, and what that does is it charges the camera before our solar panel kicks in. So before we put this on the wall and the solar panel gives it, if you like, a slow charge, we charge the whole thing up so that it is operational from the minute we put it on the wall. We've also got to do a little bit of setup on our phone before we can go ahead and install this on the front of the property. Before I go ahead and do the setup on the phone, if you haven't subscribed, please hit subscribe. There's loads of videos like this coming up and you don't want to miss them. And hit like because that helps this video reach other people on YouTube and help them too. Now once this is fully charged, we'll go through the setup together on the phone because it's nice and straightforward, and I'll show you how easy it is before we get this thing installed on the front of the house. So whilst our camera's on charge, we're going to go to the App Store and download the Eufy Security app. And once we've installed the app, it looks like it's nice and simple. We need to put in our details, all the usual stuff when you download any technology apps. So follow the instructions on the screen and set up your details, and then we'll be able to add a device. So I'm going to press Add Device, and we just cycle through all these until we find the SoloCam S340. We can then select that and we can add that to our home. You'll then get some different options whether you want to connect them to a router or whether you want to connect them to what they call a home base, which essentially is a hard drive that all of your cameras can feed information to. Of course, we've only got this one camera, but later when I add more, all that information can be fed to that home base where it can be saved on a big hard drive. So now we've got the router settings in, we should be able to press sync on the back of the camera. So there's a little button just on the back there, and you can see if we hold that, we get a beep and a flash and light. It's quite a loud beep actually. And now we should be able to press next, and we should be able to scan a QR code, which I'll probably not show you guys because I don't want people connecting to my system. I'm not sure if that could happen if I show this next screen. Added successfully.
Setup was successful.
Setup was successful. Good. Now we get to select where this camera is going to be for our home. Now I'm going to select outdoor, and I'm going to select the garage because this is going to be looking over my garage. And then it will ask us for some different modes, whether we want optimal battery life, optimal surveillance, or custom recordings. And we're going to select audio recording and microphone because you can see it's got a little speaker. Now what I'm going to do is skip a lot of this. We're already getting lots of notifications. Whoa, let's turn that down because you're going to get loads of feedback. And we should be able to see ourselves. It's on, it's fully charged, and it's ready to be put on the outside of the building. Now most of the videos online that you see of this camera are sponsored, and I don't blame those guys, you know, that runs a YouTube business at the end of the day. But it's hard to find a video of one of these that's not sponsored. This one is not sponsored, however, and I feel like I should give you a negative, but so far, I must admit, I've been sitting there at my desk trying to think of a negative, but I can't really find one. The only thing I could maybe say is that it doesn't have on the front some of the huge lights to light things up like some of the PoE cameras do. Otherwise, it does exactly what it says on the tin, and I can't even say it's expensive because it's not really. And I will put a link below if you want to grab one. It will be an affiliate link and I will get a little bit of kickback. But I can't see a lot wrong with it. I think it's a brilliant bit of kit so far, and I look forward to playing with the app and seeing what it can do. But before I do that, I think we should get it installed on the front of the building. So let's do that now. Now, before we put this in its final position, there's a couple of things to consider. The first one is that being a 360 camera where the head turns, we don't need to be that picky at where we place it, because we've got a really good broad reach in terms of what we want to see at the front of the house here. Now, I'm going to put it on the front wall here, but I need to be mindful that the solar panel needs to be in the sun. Now, you can see at that mortar joint and above, there's a little bit of shade. So I don't want this solar panel to sit in that piece of shade. I want to bring this down. So I think what I'll do is I'll move it up and down till I'm happy. I'm happy around there. I can see that shadow, and I think that's the right position, right in the middle of that pillar there. And it looks nice and even as well. If I were to put it this side, it wouldn't be in the sun, and I don't think that that would give us optimal charge, and we could end up with a flat battery. Now, I've just got this little bar clamp here, and I'm going to use that just to support the camera, and I think that's going to work quite nicely. Now, that bar clamp being tucked behind that camera there is just going to hold it there so that we can get a good view on the phone and check we're happy before we fix it. I'll head onto the app, and I'm going to screen record this so that you can see it, and you can see yourselves look on the camera. And all we're going to do is we're going to use the pan and tilt and see what sort of view we can actually get. I guess we have to hold it. Yeah, you can see it moving there. That's pretty good. We can go up and down as well, and I'm guessing that there's a way that we can set zones, but we'll have a play. We'll have a play with that in a minute. Too far. I think that's kind of the perfect position just there, but you can see that we can position that camera however we want, and by putting it there, it gets good light for the solar panel, and it gives us a really good view of what I want to look at. So I'm happy with that, and now I can fix it in place. Now, I made that mark earlier, so I know where the top of my bracket needs to sit, so we want to make sure that that's perfectly level, which it is, and then I'll use my Hultafors deep hole pencil. I'll extend the lead, and I can put the lead into each hole to make a small mark so I know where to drill. Now, I never use supplied cheap plugs and screws, so they can go in that skip. I use Fisher plugs and Fisher Power Fast screws. They are going to be perfect for this. I want a good fix into the wall, and I don't trust cheap Chinese screws, so I'm going to use a 6mm masonry bit, and I'm going to drill on those marks that we made. Now I'm just popping my plugs in those 3 holes, tap them home with a hammer. It's nice and easy install this. That's what I love about the camera. We ain't got to get in the loft and mess about running cables through a soffit and all kinds of things. This is just so simple. Now we can pop the screws in the bracket. The only other tool I'm using for this job is an impact driver. You don't have to use one of these. You can just use a manual screwdriver if you want to. But remember, if you do want to win one, head to Ultimate Tool Competitions. Let's get this screwed up. And all I'm going to do is just nip them home. I don't want to overdo them if you are using an impact driver or a drill, because you'll just crack the plastic. So be careful when you do this bit. I'll pop in all 3 screws. Now we can replace the camera onto the bracket. Just push that on, and that's it. It's on. That is the simplest install you'll ever see with a security camera. And now the satisfying bit. I love that noise. So now our camera's up, we'll have a little look at some of the presets and things that you can control on the app, because there's loads that you can do on here. First of all, it's got a light, albeit in my opinion it's not that bright, but I'm sure it's good enough at night. And I'll put a clip of video on the screen when it is nighttime so that you can see how bright that light is. It might surprise us yet. Let's see what it can do. You'll be seeing this in real time. I've yet to film it, so we'll see. We've also got the ability to talk through our camera. Horrible feedback because we're too close to it. Now, this I really like. We've got that 3K wide angle image, but if we press 3 times, we've got a zoomed in image as well, and we'll be able to use the pan and tilt function to move the camera around, so we can actually zoom in and look at whatever we want to look at. The camera has the ability to record both of those cameras at any one time. Now, one thing's really annoying, you can probably see this on the screen recording. It keeps telling me someone's been spotted and sending me notifications. I'm sure there's a way to disable that, let's have a look. So if we go into notifications, we should be able to turn the notifications off and put them on silent. So that should stop us getting loads of annoying notifications. But what I want to do is set some zones later so that I know if a notification comes through at a certain time, then it needs to be looked at. Other than that, you can control so much on the app. You can see handy things like battery percentage, and you can ultimately control the whole camera through your phone. So in my eyes, it's a win-win, and like I say, I've really struggled to find any negatives, maybe the screws that they supply with it. So I think if cheap, easy to install, easy to use CCTV camera is what you're after, then I think Eufy is the way to go with this. So I hope it's helped. If it has, check out one of these. There's more to learn about CCTV systems, and I'll see you guys in the next one.